Yo, what up, cellar dwellers? This is a little loud. Let me turn this down. This is Overlord Dan from the Movie Cellar, and you are listening to our Month of Horrors Cheap Thrills edition. And of course, if you've been listening this long, you know we call it Cheap Thrills because all the movies that we're watching this month were purchased at the Dollar Tree for $1 each. And basically what we did was we did an episode of the show where we drafted. We had like 45 movies. We each picked 10. And we're going through the 10 that we picked and talking about them. And then at the end, we'll have a recap where we kind of mention our favorites and least favorites and big surprises and things like that. So make sure that you check out our podcast. We are on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts and whatever the hell else, Spotify, all that shit. So check us out. You might like our shit. You might not like it. You might think we're funny. You might think we're dumb. You might think we're funny and we're dumb. That's what we're going for. We just want you to feel like you're hanging out with friends, talking about movies that you love. Anyway, on to the main event. So, this is my 6th installment of the Month of Horrors. And for our 6th episode, we were supposed to watch our 5th pick in the draft. So, my 5th pick in the draft was actually a Blu-ray. I love Blu-rays. Although VHS is my preferred media, I do love Blu-rays. And this Blu-ray right here is called Howl. And that is the movie that I watched and that I'm going to talk about. So, I picked this for the same reason that I picked Uncaged, which you can listen to or watch. It's like a few back. I love werewolf shit. I really love zombies, but I've done zombies out. So, I thought it's time to move on to werewolves. So, I got a good werewolf pick here. Howl. All right, so this movie, I want to tell you this up front, okay? If you're feeling it, because you hear what I have to say about it, and you're like, I want to check that out. Like many of the movies we've done on here, it is available for free streaming on Tubi. Tubi. All right? No subscription required, no payments, nothing. Just free. You got to watch some ads, but, fuck it. That's not that bad. Howl. It's on Tubi. So the basic premise of this movie is that there are werewolves. Well, okay, so there's this. You're following this dude who just got off his shift as like the train guy. He doesn't drive the train, but he like walks up and down and takes tickets and shit like that. And he just got done his shift and he's getting ready to go home, and his boss like, nah, dude, so and so called out. You got to go back on. So this is a real like Clerks kind of moment where the whole movie, it's like, I wasn't even supposed to be here. He never says that, but he should. So he gets back on the train. He's doing the red eye, and they're going through. Oh, by the way, it's British, and as an American, as soon as you place this movie in England, or give anyone an accent that's not an American accent, way better. It's way better. It's way creepier, especially when you're talking horror movies. So, anyway, they're going through the countryside of England, and the train, the engine dies, and then they start hearing noises, and then they start feeling bangs, and people go to check it out, and they don't come back, and then they decide, oh, we're going to all leave the train, we're going to walk back to the station, and then they start hearing things rustling in the woods, and then the guy that the movie's about, the main character, he goes into the woods, and he sees the driver, and his guts are all hanging out. And he's like, oh shit, we got to get back to the train. He's like, go back. So they all run back to the train, and they hear it like running through the woods after them. And they all get on. But like the old woman, she's like getting in, and the door shuts on her foot. And the fucking werewolf, you don't see it yet, but it's just gnawing at her. She finally they get it yanked in, and it's just oozing blood and guts, and it's gross. And as the movie progresses, like, it gets worse and gnarlier. And yeah, so the whole movie is them trapped on this train trying to figure out what the hell to do. And, you know, it doesn't work out for most of them, as you might expect. I don't want to give it away in case you decide to check it out. But I will say, it was a pretty fun watch. I feel like trains are a good place to put a horror movie. Train to Busan is an amazing zombie movie. This is not that good, but it's still a pretty fun movie. And the werewolves are pretty cool looking, which was a huge problem I had with Uncaged. The werewolves in this, way better, way cooler looking. So, having said that, let's get into the categories. Now, the way this works is each category will get a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or a thumb to the side if it's okay. And at the end, I'll have an overall grade for it. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs to the side. And then I'll let you go. All right? First up, gore. I'm going to give this a thumbs up on gore. It started slow, but then like I told you, that woman had that bite out of her leg, and then it just went from there. You know, lots of monster gore. The werewolves get attacked. The people get attacked by the werewolves. There's biting. There's heads getting chopped with axes. You know, there's people getting smashed with fucking fire extinguishers. All kinds of cool stuff. You know, claws, bites, all the stuff you want out of a werewolf movie. So for gore, thumbs up. And this is kind of where I think I'll put the description of the werewolves. It's not technically gore, but it kind of falls under the monster category here. I thought the werewolves, they did a great job. Some of the shots look like they're CGI, but also some of the shots are in costume. And the way I would describe the werewolves is kind of like a cross between like a fawn and an orc. So they kind of get those like fawn type legs, although they have more like dog or wolf paws as opposed to like hooves. But that kind of shape to the leg and that kind of walk. And then their upper body looks very orc-like, you know, with the pointy ears and the teeth. And then as the characters in the movie get bit and turn, you kind of see the werewolves in earlier stages where they're more human, but they have the sharp teeth and the look in their face, you know. So I think the werewolves are done very well in this. And they also like wait quite a while to do the first reveal, which is always fun. All right, music. I'm going to give it a thumbs up for music. Not a huge thumbs up, but it works well. I thought the music worked really well for the film. And there were moments where I thought the music really contributed to the tension of the moment, which is what you want the music to do, you know? Ambiance. Ambiance, big thumbs up. Set on a train in the middle of the woods, nothing around. It's dark. You know, the moon's bright because it's like a full moon. It's all smoky and foggy. And the train's kind of off the rails, and so, you know, it's got a really cool, creepy look to it, like a place you wouldn't want to be. And you're thinking there's monsters around, you know, and there are in this case. All right, creativity. I'm gonna go thumb sideways. I mean, the werewolf thing, it's been done a lot, but these werewolves were on a train, so that's different. So, you know, thumb sideways. It wasn't like totally uncreative, but they didn't reinvent the wheel here. Suspense and jump scares. I'm gonna give this a soft thumbs up, like a 3/4 of the way up. It was suspenseful. It worked really well for a monster movie. You know, you knew what you were getting into. You don't look at a cover like this and think, oh, the train's going to be broke down, and then boom, it's going to be good, and they're going to go on their way, and everyone's going to be fine. So, you know, thumb sideways. Lasting impact. I think if someone was like, hey, let's watch a werewolf movie, and I wanted to tell them about one that maybe was a little less known, I would probably tell them this one. I'm going to give it a thumb sideways. Not a huge lasting impact, but a decent werewolf movie for sure. Overall, I'm going to give this, again, like a soft thumbs up, like a 3/4 of the way up. It's good. I would check it out. If you're bored, if you're checking out shit on Tubi and you want to watch something new and you're down with like monster flicks and werewolf flicks, Howl's a cool movie. And that's about all I got to say about it. So until next time, come back, check us out tomorrow. We'll have another one of these up. I'm Overlord Dan, and this is the Movie Sellers Month of Horrors. Cheap thrills.